Hey, Hannah Mouse One here. Welcome to day 5 of the 5 days of Scratchmas coding challenge, where each day I show you how to make a super simple Christmas themed minigame in Scratch. And today we're going to be making the game Cookie Catch, where you have to catch the Christmassy cookies in a little sack whilst avoiding all of the healthy foods, like all the fruits that, who wants that around Christmas, right? So I am of course assuming that you have completed parts 1 through 4. And if you haven't, the link to those will be down below so you can follow along. But assuming that you are all caught up with us, let's jump right in with the coding. So back in Game Sprite 1, we're going to go to the When I Receive Game Start script. And then we're going to scroll down to the If Game is equal to 5 section. For this, what we're going to do is at the beginning, we're going to set game state to 0. We're going to set variable 1 to 0. And then wait 1 second. Then we will set game state to 1 and countdown we will set to be also 1. And then we need a repeat until loop with the condition repeat until game state is equal to 2. And then we are going to, within this loop, wait 0.5 seconds. And then we need an if statement. We need it to be if equals, and then we need this to be if game state is equal to 1. And then we're going to change countdown by 0.2. After the repeat until loop, we need a wait block, and we need this to wait 3 seconds. Then we can just copy in the set game to none broadcast main menu block from the previous section that we coded in yesterday, and that will just take us back to the main menu when the game ends. So now let's go down to the clone define script, if we can find that. Here we are, and we need to find the if game is equal to 5 section that we haven't coded in yet. I'm just going to copy all of the code from the game 4 section and just drag that in. We want it to be set this type to sack, and for that we want to switch costume to catch sack and go to x0, y minus 137. Then we want to set this type to spawner. And we could remove the switch costume to block. We don't need this to have a switch costume block. And that's actually all you need for the clone define script. That gives us the 2 sprites that we need for this. So now let's go to the when I start as a clone script right here. And if we go to the if game is equal to 5 section, we can drag in an if else function into that. For this we want if this type is equal to spawner as the condition. In this case we want to hide. And then we want a repeat loop. Repeat until not game state is equal to 1. Then we need a wait function. And we want this to be wait 2 divided by countdown seconds. So basically we have it so that countdown is set up as the difficulty meter. So throughout the game the countdown value is increasing, and that just means that the game speeds up so that the cookies drop more frequently the further into the game you get. We're just using it as a stand-in for difficulty. And after the wait block, we need a create clone of game sprite 2 block. And then in this empty else function, we need an if control block with it being if game state is equal to 1. And then we need a set x2 block. Under sensing, we then need a mouse x as the input for that. That just means that the sack will line up with the mouse as you play the game. Now we want to click over to Game Sprite 2, and under the if game is equal to 5 section of that, and into that we're going to add a go-to block. We're going to set the x portion to be minus 200 to 200, and the y portion we're going to set to 185. Then we need an if else function. If pick random 1 to 5 is equal to 5. In this case, we will switch costume to join fruit pick random 1 to 3. We can copy the switch costume block into the else portion, but in this case we want it to be to cookie random 1 to 3. This means that there is a 1 in 5 chance for each drop to be a fruit, but obviously you can change how frequently this happens, or you can make it so that the further into the game you get, the more fruit you get compared to cookies. If you want to make the game harder, that's definitely a challenge you could try to implement if you want to do a little bit extra. After the if-else function, we're going to add a repeat until, and then what we're going to do is drag in an or operator into that. For this, we're going to be setting it to be if wait and repeat until y is less than negative 180, or touching game sprite 1. So we go to sensing, this is the first one, we can select game sprite 1 from the drop down. Within this function we need a change y by block, and we're going to set that to be countdown multiplied by -1. So as the game progresses and the countdown value increases, the cookies and fruit will drop faster and faster to make it a bit more frantic. Within this loop we also need an if function, with the condition being if not. Duplicate this so we can just drag this in. We need to be if not game state is equal to 1, and within this function we're going to just delete this clone. After the repeat until loop we need an if function with an if else function within that. The condition for the if function should be if touching game sprite 1, and for the if else function it should be if so we need a contains operator, so we need it to be if costume name contains fruit. There we go. If costume name contains fruit, we need to set game state to 2. Else we need to change score by 1. And then after this, so after the if touching function, we need to delete this clone block. So let's give this a quick test, shall we? As you can see, we have the cookies and fruit falling down from the top of the screen. If we catch a fruit, game pauses for a few seconds, and then boots you back to the main menu, which is exactly what we want. So now let's quickly add in some sounds. This is going to be super easy for this one. So under game sprite 2 still, we need to, in the if touching game sprite 1 section, in the if portion of the if else function, we need to play start sound incorrect, else start sound correct. And that's all the sounds we're going to be adding for this one. So apart from that, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you did. It lets me know that this is something you want to see more of. Join the Discord link down below, and I'll see you tomorrow with day 6 of the 12 days of Scratchmas challenge. Bye!